Just going to do a quick video. Day off today. It is May Day bank holiday. So I'm not at work and I've got a few spare minutes. So I thought I would. Sorry, I'm quite tired. I stayed up to watch the basketball on Saturday night and listen to the boxing, neither of which went the way that I kind of wanted to. San Antonio got knocked out in the first round, which is a shame, and Floyd Mayweather didn't get knocked out, which is a shame. So yeah, I'm quite tired today. It's always the day after the day after. So yeah, I've got a few things recently, and I picked up some stuff today as well. So I'm going to crack on. First off, this was one of my birthday presents. So I finally have something a bit more, not professional, but practical maybe for cleaning my records than the kind of haphazard way that I do it at the moment. But I get great results, but it's maybe not the best way of doing it. But then if I get great results, who knows? It'll be interesting to see now I have something that's actually meant for cleaning records, what it's like, but I couldn't afford a proper machine, so I have one of them to try it out. Right, first up is this, which is a compilation called The Mystery and the History of Planet. I think this must be one of these things where they're not allowed to mention Gong, because Gong always gets kind of asterisked out like this. So I presume for some kind of contractual reasons they weren't allowed to actually write Gong on it, but I'm not sure. This is a compilation on Demimonde. I can show you that there. It's a 2-disc set, but it's really more of, I can show you here, a mixture of stuff, going way back to like early Soft Machine. It's a mixture of live cuts, but it's kind of done in chronological order. So there's some snippets from concerts and some spoken word bits, and as you go through, like really early stuff from 64, 68 with Soft Machine, 69, and then it goes through 75. There's a great track there with Kevin Ayers. Yeah, but this is a really interesting mix. I got this off eBay. I think I paid £1.20 plus postage, and I think it's one of those things you can pick up really cheap. But it's probably only going to be people that are into Gong or Soft Machine and stuff that are really going to. It's not really an album, but it's very interesting. It's like a scrapbook, a musical scrapbook. That's what this is. But well worth getting if you're into any of the bands featured on it. Back into my jazz phase. I got this from the same seller that I got the last ones from. This is Herbie Mann Stone Flute. I listened to this last night and it's really good. It's on Atlantic and my kind of favourite Plum Atlantic label, and at some point it's obviously been at trade-in place, which is quite cool. I like finding things like this. It kind of adds a bit of history to it. But yeah, Mobyman Stone Flute. Cool album. This is Father John Misty. This is his second album, called I Love You Honey Bear. I was really looking forward to this because I really like the Fleet Foxes albums, and this was getting great reviews, so I bought it, and it's terrible. It was, yeah, it just wasn't very good, and it had that kind of embarrassing embarrassing swearing. I mean, there's times where swearing on records is fine, you know. It's not always necessary, but and I'm no prude by any stretch of the imagination. But when you're singing a nice gentle ballad and you have to drop F-bombs in it, it just sounds wrong. And this was a real disappointment. Not because of the swearing, but it just wasn't good. Everything that I love about Fleet Foxes was missing from this. So this has been a total disappointment, and as such, it's the first thing that I've bought that I'm not going to draw in my book. So if anybody wants the Father John Misty album, let me know. And I've also picked up this, which I haven't listened to yet, but I'm a big Blair fan, so and what I've heard from this on the radio it sounds really good. It kind of, what I've heard so far sounds like Modern Life is Rubbish, but in a kind of slightly old and, I'm not going to say bitter, but more reflective, shall we say. But this is Blair's The Magic Whip. Comes in this cool, you can see, actually, here we go, there we go, you can see how bad my video setup is. It's got this mirrored bit on the back. Look, there's my iPhone there, hanging off a ruler wedged between two books. That's how good my my setup is. I wonder if I could do one of those Doctor Who things. Yeah, so there we go. The illusion has been broken. Yeah, Blair's Magic Whip, but I've not opened this, so but I've heard quite a lot of it. And I went into one of the charity shops today. There's been nothing in them for a while, really, and I went in there again and there was nothing, and then I turned around and on the floor there was 2 crates full of records, and I thought, oh, so I went and had a look, and it was all classical, and not even, I would think, the classical I'm really into. It all looked like it was kind of 70s, 80s pressings of things, and I like early classical pressings, just the way I am. But I picked up a few things for a couple of quid, but I have no idea what any of this is going to be like. So Erik Satie's Piano Music, it had a kind of cool cover, so I grabbed it, but it's on Music for Pleasure. This one looked quite interesting. John Maynard, The 12 Wonders of the World, 1611. This just had a terrible cover. Benjamin Britten, Piano Concerto and Violin Concerto. It's on Decca. I mean, why would you have that as your cover? Yeah, it's a Decca SXL. So I don't know about that one. Maria Callas compilation. I like Maria Callas, so I grabbed that. But again, it's just a comp, so I don't know whether it's going to be better than the stuff that I have. A Segovia compilation again, I think, called Reveries. Maybe it's not a compilation, I'm not sure. But again, this is 78 on RCA. 1978, that is, not the speed. This one looked a bit more interesting. This is the Ormonti Trio, and it's on this label that I hadn't seen before as well, Virtuoso, which I think is a subsidiary of Pi, and this came out in '69, so yeah, it was one that I hadn't seen before, but the cover looked a bit more interesting. There's a kind of textured, Hessian-y textured one. It reminds me of those kind of ECM ones that everyone shows, but could be good, could be bad, I have no idea. This was something I picked up purely because it's a quadradisc, Atlantic quadradisc, and it's got Richard Harris doing something on it, but again I have no idea what this is going to be like. But one of the reasons I picked it up is it's on this Atlantic label that I've never seen before, kind of blue and bronze quadradisc label, and has this inner sleeve that explains. This is the kind of thing I like. This is really why I bought it, because it has this inner sleeve that explains how exactly how the quad sound works. So that'll be interesting reading, if nothing else. And finally, the only thing that really looked interesting from its cover, anyway, when I look at the back it doesn't look quite so interesting, is this, which is by a group called Kaleidoscope. It's not the Kaleidoscope, before anyone gets too excited, and it's called The Wings of a New Dream, and it appears to be a trio here of folk songs, including First Time Ever I Saw Your Face and Bob Dylan's Forever Young. So this could be quite interesting. It's obviously been signed here at some point. But yeah, this looked vaguely interesting. But the rest of it was all kind of 80s, late 70s, early 80s kind of pressings of chamber music and symphonies and piano concertos, and not really my thing when it comes to classical. Yeah, so I'm just going to hold this up here for a minute, because this might end up being my screenshot. I seem to figure out that's how it works these days, if you hold something still enough. And this looks interesting enough that it might draw some people in. Yeah, so that's been my haul for the last few days. Like I said, some classical stuff that's not really here or there, but I just bought it 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago, so I thought I'd show it. Yeah, I've enjoyed watching a lot of people's videos recently. I'm glad Jan you got my package safely. I've got some more to send out to various people. Yeah, so that's about it. 14 minutes is plenty long enough to hear me waffle on, but I wanted to get a video made this week before I didn't. So yeah, hope everyone's doing fine, and as always, love to hear your comments and reply to them. So take care.